One called British Meat October 9 in 2013. A heinous crime was reported to the Shanghai police. The residence was 12 Nanchang Road, home to the Gao family. With little progress and much frustration, Huo Sang and Bao Lan were called to the scene. In this Western civilized home, a most uncivilized event had taken place. Ding Fangzhou, the wife of Gao Youzhi, had been murdered. All that was left at the scene was a shoe, simple, seemingly unimportant, and yet the key to the crime. The family servant, Wang Fu, had caught in the crime. With nothing but a body and a shoe, the detectives eagerly awaited his arrival for questioning. As Huo Sang awaited the servant's arrival, he discussed possibilities with his colleagues. However, regardless of any other ideas, Lieutenant Fan seemed adamant that the motive was coquetry. Upon further interrogation, it was discovered that the mistress had been alone in the house along with the young maid. After much debate on such a premature conclusion, Xiangling arrived to be questioned. Huo Sang, with all the newfound evidence before him, felt he could draw a single conclusion. The murder was in all likelihood well known to the victim. Time was passing quickly and few answers were coming to them, so the detectives decided to go after the answers. Ni Jinshou was to visit the younger brother of Gao Youzhi, Bao Lan to visit the Du family next door, Fan to pursue his beloved ruffian. Bao Lan found herself at the Du residence, met by expressions of horror when she told them of the crime. Du's family servant informed Bao that the victim was perfectly proper, and that oftentimes there was calling outside from young ruffians. She had heard the same calling the night of the crime. Returning to the Gao residence, Bao relayed to Ni her newfound information. It was then that Gao Youhui arrived at the scene with his old aunt. In a panic, the old aunt informed the detectives that jewels worth tens of thousands of dollars were kept in that room. They were all gone. Bao deemed herself done with the crime scene and departed to meet Huo Sang back at the 77 Iwan Road. The two detectives discussed the missing jewels and the shoe. Huo Sang had discovered there had been a party in the neighborhood, and who was the owner of the shoe. With the new information about the jewels, Huo Sang made off for Gao residence. Shortly after his departure, Ni Jinshou called. Ni informed Bao that the owner of the shoe had been found. In a drunken stupor, he had thrown the shoe onto the balcony and called out to the beautiful victim. All questions were answered, but new ones arose. How did the shoe get inside? Bao waited in the office, but time came and went without Huo Sang's returning. Finally, his partner walked through the door. Huo had nearly solved the case. Bao, completely lost, requested that it be spelled out for him. Huo had discovered that the entire murder was committed on a misunderstanding. Guo Yaozhi, the husband of the victim, had been ruined in the recent stock changes. He had emailed his wife, asking her to meet him in private and tell no one, for he was to flee. When he arrived home, he heard calling outside, where he discovered the shoe. Outraged and believing her to be unfaithful, he murdered his innocent wife. Desperate for money to escape, he stole the jewels, deleted the evidence of his meeting, and fled. Thus, another crime was solved in Shanghai, and the city could rest easy.